All right, we are professionals, so we totally have the camera turned on. And we totally have the app started. Real professionals here. I totally had my camera on. We're back for another. You'll see my face soon. Just let the camera live. But we're back. Totally professional show here. We're going to talk about everything. We're just going to spurg out about the week. The week in review. Really 2 weeks because I missed last week because just exhausted. I found my camera. Hold on, let me make sure this is working. Wanted to capture is on, but it's not showing on my other screen. Let's see if this one's any better. Oh yeah, dude. We're starting off great. Everything is fine.
Nice.
It's just a black screen. I'm not sure what's happening to the properties. Capture.
I don't remember how.
Hey, I think we're there. Are we here? I think we're good now. But my thing is not letting me like. Every time I try to adjust my camera, it just reverts to where the camera's at, so I'm gonna have to manually. That's all right. There's an addition being added onto the house, and we're actually gonna have like a studio again, or like a little office to stream from again. So it's gonna be totally legit, dude. And I'm gonna get a desk to sit behind and cross my arms and furrow my brow. What? Also, so hold on, let me do the. I gotta be more professional about this. I gotta put my face on and tell my viewers what's happening with the channel. I found my GoPro camera and my chest mount and all that stuff. So we're gonna be doing some soccer content. The old soccer games. We started a league with some friends, an adult league, and we are getting obliterated. It's kind of funny. So, we have not won a game yet. And we're just getting wrecked. So, it's pretty good. I think this is a good time to record, you know what I mean? We got to get the come up. We got to get the rise to greatness. So, you know, I have my semi-host OpX here with me. We're just going to spurg out about the week in review and catch up. Because we haven't caught up about any of it, but I know we've both been seeing the craziness on Twitter. And the Charlie Kirk memorial, the Trump administration. It's funny. It's like I still have a lot of gripes with the Trump administration, but I'm sort of down for this, like, you know, power grab or capitalizing on the event. Even though it sounds a little like grimy, but at the same time, it's like, when does the left not do? You know what I mean? When does the left not behave this way? Everybody was crying all over Twitter and saying they're turning into a political rally and they're trumping it up and they're making all the people, you know, get merch and they're signing them up, registering to vote. And I'm like, yeah, they did the same things at all the past, you know, what is it, 4 funerals they've had, like the 4 major ones, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. They had the 2 Democrats. Then they had, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there's like 2 more. And it was like every single one Obama's speaking at, they're rallying the troops, they're talking about how important it is to save the democracy. So, it's just getting a little ridiculous. Let's see your voice. Let's see. Get you turned up a little bit. You should be good. Turn the whole thing up now. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts? Let's just jump right into this. Let's just spurg out for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the memorial, right? I missed a little bit of that. So, you're talking about
Just everything in general too. I mean, even just all the way back to the assassination, because I don't think we've talked since then about any of this stuff.
Yeah, but you're talking about the Democrats running the same old democracy needs to be saved and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to listen to my voice at the same time as I'm responding to you too.
Oh yeah,
It's better.
it's better.
But yeah, I mean,
I can turn it up. I can turn myself down.
It's really sad and demoralizing even to be alive for the news cycle for the last like 3 weeks, because every time something bad happens, you see Democrats do the same exact thing.
Yeah,
They run this narrative. It's the same gaslighting you see every single time. Even before Charlie Kirk, I mean, everybody was tuned into the arena story.
Oh yeah.
Fine with that. And then they have the audacity to run the same obvious plays when Charlie Kirk dies, when he's assassinated. It's like immediately they don't, without missing a beat, they're like, "Oh, it's MAGA."
Trump. The craziest thing too was the immediate smear. Like the immediate smears. Yeah. Like there was not. I never saw like such an organized effort to go after Charlie Kirk until his death. Like right. I didn't know there was even people spinning up these narratives, and then all of a sudden, like in unison together, all of the left collectively, TikTok, and you see it all over Twitter and all over Facebook and Blue Sky and all this stuff was just like the craziest shit. They're like, yeah, he was a Nazi. He was a, he was a fascist. He was a racist. And I'm like, where did all this come from, dude? Like, all of a sudden they have these like 4 clips, and it was like the same 4 ones that were going around, taken out of context, and then that was it.
And what's so sad about this is, if you saw Crowder's reaction, he did an interview, I think, I don't remember who it was with, like somebody like Piers Morgan, some news network, goes on there and he says, I stopped doing this stuff for a reason. Which, I mean, I think the main reason is he had a show, he was making more money doing the show. But he stopped doing college campuses, and he said part of the reason why he stopped doing it was the safety concerns, right? I was kind of talking about this with someone else earlier, how, maybe the last 10 years getting into politics and kind of, that whole arc, right? And you kind of have this sense of like, okay, these are the types of threats that we deal with. And the one thing that you almost never think about is somebody just climbing up on a roof and shooting somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. A lot of the people that were doing the conspiracy stuff were like, "Oh yeah, doesn't he have security and blah blah blah?" And yeah, it's like, well, yeah, but you don't think somebody's gonna climb up on a roof and shoot you, dude? Like, you think somebody's probably gonna come out of the audience and like throw a rock at you, or like run up and try to shoot you, or run up and try to stab you, or something. You don't think somebody's gonna actually like assassinate someone who's literally there just to like have a conversation?
Because it's like, this kid has to know he's not getting it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to know that. It's just not going to happen in this day and age. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's that. But then there's also like, when Crowder goes on the show, part of what he says is that he feels guilty. he feels a little bit guilty because he didn't say enough about what the threats were, what he was dealing with, why he stopped going to campuses.
Yeah, I saw some of that. I think
And
actually
I'm kind
I
of
think I
feel-
saw all of that. I think I saw all of Crowder's bit
you know,
on that
and
show.
I'm not like a Crowder. I don't have a big platform or anything, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I identify that with that too. Just that, like, I feel a little bit like maybe I should have said a little bit more about how crazy these people are. Because I've heard people talk like that. I'm almost desensitized to it. I think we all are. If
Yeah.
you've ever been on Reddit, we all are kind of desensitized to it. So it's not like I personally feel like I have responsibility, but I wonder why the federal government hasn't done more with the DOJ and the FBI about the left-wing terror threat. Now we're talking about it, now that they killed Charlie Kirk.
Well, it's because the right is afraid to actually go on the offense or like press the gas pedal instead of just pumping the brakes all the time. All we ever do is pump the brakes, and
ironically,
the left has both feet on the gas.
doing, and that's what Charlie Kirk was doing.
Yeah,
One of his last interviews.
I have it.
About,
I was gonna pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up.
Let
I
me
was
see.
watching that earlier today too.
I think this is the one you're talking about. Let me see.
And he's talking about how the right never plays offense
Mhm.
and how that's what he's trying to do. That's why they killed him, because Charlie Kirk is the least threatening of the people on the right.
Yeah, let me see. Let's see.
That doesn't look
Here, let me do a screen share. What? Yeah.
You remember to take that out?
Yeah. All right, let's see. Share this to you too. All right, tell me, can you see this? Yeah. I was gonna react to this too.
all right.
Just I haven't because I only watched like the first minute, and I was like, let me just save this. We'll watch it together.
Yep.
Living through a moment where this is the most consequential historical climax, like, since the American Civil War. That's not BS. That's not spin. Yeah, this is even. Yeah, this is. I mean, like 1776 Tea Party.
Dude was dialed in.
Yeah, and it's so.
He really was, and you know what's funny is I gave Tim Pool a lot of shit. I didn't get a chance to give it to him while I was on the show because it wasn't really appropriate for me to just randomly bring it up, but that's part of the reason why I stopped watching Tim Pool was because he kept drilling on that Civil War, and I don't know how many times I've seen him tweet like that or post like that, but they're kind of, I mean, they're right. They're just right. I mean, and Tim Pool's actually been to a lot of different war zones, and I have to admit that, like, while he may be like a little hyperbolic, he's still correct. This is like we are in unprecedented times. So
Yeah, and we're playing with fire, and also Tim used to be on the left,
right,
and Tim's heard it all.
yeah.
Tim's been in there with those people, so he knows.
Well, he worked at
really,
ABC, I think, and Vice.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So he knows how they talk when they're in their comfort zones. That's the thing that I was trying to say earlier. I've been there too, so I know how these people talk when they're in their comfort zones. A lot of times, what you see them post online, that's just what they make.
that's the tame. Yeah. Well, that's what.
Behind the scenes,
Yeah.
like I have a screenshot saved. I'm gonna save it. And you see that's the type of shit that they say when they think they're safe, and it's so much worse than people than people know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna send that.
Hold on. Let me make sure my thing isn't echoing. I need to put a filter on here. I think there's one on there.
Let's see, where did I?
Okay, Nana, if you're still in the chat, make sure. Let me know if it's like bleeding through from the headset or something like that. If there's echo or something. But yeah, I started to kind of figure that out too. That I was being too charitable to, the left in general, And then I realized just what you're talking about. I'm like, well, these people are like, all the stuff that you see them saying or posting online is like the tame version of whatever they're saying in private. And then on top of that, so when you see the people that are saying more crazy, more heinous shit online, that means offline they're in the groups that, you know, Tyler Robinson was in, that are like gassing somebody up to go be the next assassin.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, yeah. And they're, like you were saying earlier, it's crazy that we haven't. Thank you, Nana. It's crazy that we haven't had anybody pushing back on, like, from an administration pushing back on left-wing terror, because it's like they can find all these guys, or, you know, that aren't really anybody. They can find people out in the middle of the woods that, you know, bought, you know, 3 firearms, maybe illegally, or maybe they have the wrong capacity or some random shit. The ATF can go find some farmer out in the middle of nowhere, but they can't find the people that are literally planning to burn down a courthouse for 100 days straight. And they can't find the guys who are like the gangbangers in the middle, in the inner cities, that are showing off their fucking switches on Instagram every day. Like, they can't find any of those people, but they can find the hillbilly in the middle of the woods that fucked up and
family over a bump stop.
Yeah, that fucked up, you know, on subsection B, line 42A of like the gun law in his specific state, and he's going to go to fucking prison for 40 years, you know. So, but anyways, let's.
A building full of Mormons.
yeah. Yeah. We can literally burn women and children alive on purpose at Waco. You know, not saying that the guys inside were correct, but, you know, that whole situation, you know, that can happen. We can find those guys and we can burn those people to the ground. We can burn their wives and their children alive on purpose, but we can't find gangbangers with switches that are flashing them on Instagram every single day and bragging about how they just killed and smoked their ops. And we can't find, you know, leftist terror cells that are literally burning down a courthouse for 100 days straight.
Yep.
So.
And by the way, just for something we need to talk about later also is that the whole thing with Tyler's roommate.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing from the safe house. Just begging the question, why does he need to go to a safe house? Who does he need to be safe from?
Right. It's so funny to me that, and this is what I kept seeing from a lot of the left and TikTok. It was like they were saying that they feel unsafe now. And I'm like, what in the fuck? What kind of like upside down? It's like it's the whole meme. They're doing the meme. Like, they cry out as they strike you. It's like, oh no, you're reacting to the thing that we just did and then celebrated, and then now you're coming after us. We don't feel safe anymore. It's just like, well, yeah, no shit. That's the point. You shouldn't. Yeah, you should feel uncomfortable. You know, and if you do feel uncomfortable, you don't feel safe, you're the target. You're the ones we're after. Okay, like you are the person that needs to be, you know, doxxed and fired, and you need to go to jail. I mean, you probably have some skeletons in the closet. I mean, you're exactly who we're after. You should feel uncomfortable. I'm glad you feel uncomfortable. All right, let's try to finish this.
It's like, it's a question, right? And I have no idea if we're going to win or not. So, yeah, you have a thought? We're trying, man. That's a good question.
He said, why don't we go on the offense?
I like it. You're the only one that I see.
Well, it's because thank you. And I'm not the only one. But let me tell you why. By the grace of God, I am not in federal prison. By the grace of God, I'm not indicted. That's not a joke. That's what these people do, okay? Well, look, you're right. And I pray for me every day, and pray, and you should, because there's only a few of us that actually play offense. James O'Keefe plays offense. Yes. But what happened to him? They removed him from his organization. He's under criminal investigation by the FBI and the Westchester DA. Steve Bannon plays offense. He's going to go to federal prison next month. Tucker Carlson plays offense. They took him off air. Any player that plays, Donald Trump plays offense. He's facing 600 years in federal prison. That's why we don't play offense. How about this? We have 16 Literally amazing senior citizens that have done such good for our country in Michigan that are facing the rest of their life in prison because they signed a document to become an alternate elector. To become an alternate elector. Most people don't even know about this story. This story was buried. I'm going to talk about this.
It's crazy.
That is something too that I thought about watching this again is that, conservatives have a lot to lose. We
Yeah.
have fame. We actually have money in the bank. We have assets. We have responsibilities. We have communities of people that we care about. The left is comprised of a bunch of destinies.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of Coomer degenerate retards. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
just a bunch of hedonistic losers. It's actually just a bunch of losers. There's that meme, that joke thing, like an old cartoon where it's like at 15 a cockhead, at something else, at 45 or something, and then it's like at 40 or 50 a suffragette or something, and it's like an old political cartoon about the suffragettes back in the day. I mean, that's literally what we're dealing with. It is a bunch of losers that couldn't get and it's like they collected all the Pokemon badges, all the Pokemon gym badges. I'm neurodivergent. I'm whatever it is, plus size, trans, mask, non-binary, neurodivergent, whatever it is, like all the shit. I'm disabled. That's what they want.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Like these people. So somebody was saying they don't have anything to live for.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we talked about it on your show before. I was talking to somebody else, and I just don't know if it was you or not. But you think about the anatomy of a leftist, especially one like Tyler or like that kid John that shot these people today. They go to college. They take out a bunch of student loan debt. They get sociology degrees, and they end up in debt that they can't pay off because their degrees aren't actually worth anything. Or if they don't get the sociology degree, they get some other degree that is degraded to the point of them being dysfunctional in society just because of the electives that they took in college, right?
Yeah.
All this exposure to all this communist, Marxist, sociological bullshit that does nothing except make you a whiny bitch.
Well, and the saddest part about that, which is why I'm glad that Charlie. One of the things that Charlie Kirk did speak on was the fact that college is essentially kind of a scam for most people, and he qualified it, like he's saying that for what the jobs that most people end up doing, even with a college degree, don't require a college degree. So therefore, most people don't actually need to go to college. You shouldn't go to college unless you're trying to specialize in a thing and blah 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 whatever. But to what you were talking about, I've thought about that a lot too, and I think it kind of reinforces all of those terrible ideas, right? All that Marxist, progressive nonsense. Like they put all this value in it because they have to. Because the other option is realizing that they were just scammed out of like $250,000 in tuition. You know what I mean? That they're going to be paying for the rest of their life, and then they have to then they realize that like they just wasted a huge chunk of their life, went into debt that they can't file for bankruptcy on. They have to pay it off. They'll never get away from it.
Yep.
And so it's like that's the other alternative is realizing you were had, or you just. You know what I mean? You just become galvanized even further into the position. You just put the blinders on, and you just go fucking tunnel vision. You're just like, this is the correct way. Like, become the gray man NPC.
Well, that's exactly what I'm pointing at too. It's like, so you get this person, they leave with all this debt. Their degree has no utility. They buy into the lie of the credentials and the value of the sociological theories that they've been bombarded with, right? And then they get out, they try to be functioning members of society. And what they need is David Goggins. What they get is whiny Destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that the most damaging part of all of that is that they're not prepared for the world when they come out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're going through, you know, whether it's your parents or the school that's telling you, and even now it's getting worse and worse. Right now, it's all the way down into even like the most conservative, or, you know, areas of the country. The public schools and private schools are filled with this crap, and it's like the safe space, and you're all, you know, you're insulated from all this, and don't bully, and you know, you're not fat, you're just plus size, and all these things, and then you get all the way out into the real world with a ton of, you know, debt and all this, and you're trying to find a job, and you know, and then you realize nobody gives a shit about any of that stuff. They're just like, can you perform or can you not perform? Regardless of all the DEI bullshit, for at least, you know, for now, thankfully, generally the corporations still run off a meritocracy.
Yeah, and so there's all these hard truths about life, right? There's all these difficulties where even if you're crushing it, right? You know, there's all this unforeseen hardship, like getting shot in the neck by a deranged leftist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody that's going to happen anymore. But there's all this hardship, right? And it's out of anybody's control, right? That's life, okay? And so when these people face this hardship, what they're armed with at that point is not just inadequate, it's destructive to the individual, right? And then what happens is they get radicalized into these left-wing positions, right? So it becomes like this black hole of desolation, hopelessness, and just complete dysfunction, right? And that's how you get these people that go and they shoot places.
Yeah.
Whatever, right?
Yeah, and the other thing, before I forget, the other thing I wanted to add on to what you said earlier about conservatives having something to lose, that's been my biggest reason for even like talking about a lot, like deciding to kind of come back and try to stream and talk about more of the stuff in general, especially like, you know, cultural issues and the issues surrounding like the red pill kind of sphere and stuff, because it's kind of the same thing there. Because conservative men and Christian families or whatever, by the nature of them doing the right things and living life the way you're supposed to live it, they're just busy. You know what I mean? Like, I have 2 kids and a wife, and she's a stay-at-home, and it's like I'm so busy all the time. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do things with the kids. I'm trying to do things for myself to be a better person. Like, I'm staying in shape. I'm going to church. I'm involved with the church. It's like I'm working my ass off to make sure we have, you know, the bills paid and everything. It's like, by the nature of the beast, I'm too busy to get out here and hold a megaphone and cheer a bunch of people on. And I think most conservative men and most Christian men find themselves in that position. And we just put our heads down and we just are like, well, I'm just going to try to do the right thing. And not that that's a bad thing, but it's like, well, now the only people that are having the conversation are a bunch of retards on the left and a bunch of retards on the right. You know what I mean? You have that's where like the manosphere type and like Andrew Tate and all these other retards come from. Trying to bring in these, you know, solutions to problems that aren't really problems. You know what I mean? In the first place, you should be monogamous. You should be, you know, religious.
This man, I don't mean to make this pause so long, but this also plays into something else too, which is the whole phenomenon of paid protesters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do these people, the left, always have the time to go out there with these goofy signs in their hair? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And protest everything and burn down every city every time something moves. Every time the clock ticks, they got to burn down a city. Where do they get the time?
Yeah.
No wonder you guys are so broke. No wonder you're so worried about how you're going to pay your student loans. You don't get paid if you don't protest.
Yep.
Everybody else has shit to do. So it's like the left is fully leaning into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we can make this through this.
These are 16 senior citizens. I'll tell you about Rose Rook, 81 years old, from Paw Paw, Michigan. She signed a piece of paper to become an alternate elector, her constitutional right with historical precedent. She's facing 120 years in federal prison. 81 years old, she has $30,000 to her name, and her husband died 10 years ago. And the Michigan AG is trying to show her as a domestic terrorist. She can't defend herself. The whole weight of the world is, the cruelty is the point. We are dealing with savages. This is not normal. This is ultra revolution time. Like, they are eating the country from within. The problem is they preempt us against offense, but that is not an excuse. We all have to play offense. We have to take the initiative. But here's the thing: we are not good offensive players. I'll prove it to you.
That's absolutely correct.
Because conservatives definitionally are defensive. We are conserving against their offense, right? So, like, by our temperament is to build businesses and churches and be agreeable. Our temperament, we don't think like revolutionaries. Well, we got to change that.
Yeah, because we want to maintain a stable society. We just want things to continue to be civilized.
I know, but my next book is literally called Right Wing Revolution. Like, I'm trying to make people think in a way where we're trying to stop their refounding of America. Here's the good news. If you want, like, the good news of all this, the founders have given us this unbelievable...
He really was just on all the time. It's crazy. What a workhorse, dude.
The Constitution gives us hope.
Yeah.
Like, if we did not have the founders, God bless them. Like, I'll give you an example.
They made a
college.
huge
It was not
mistake
for the
there.
electoral college.
Yeah.
It was the games that meant for it.
Anybody be talking
Now-
about this? Would anybody be talking about clips like this outside of obscure fringe right-wing communities? No.
Yeah.
Now everybody.
What?
No, Charlie Kirk was.
Do you have the right mic selected? I wonder if
I
you.
don't know why.
I wonder if it just may be a little quiet.
Is it still quiet? I thought it was fixed.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I turned it up for the stream. I think for the stream it's fine, but I just wonder if that's what it was.
Let's check.
But yeah, even it's funny, dude.
Yeah, cranked all the way up.
Okay.
Little 100.
We have a chance, right? A collection of states. It's still going to be very hard, right? But there's still hope, is what I'm saying. There's a roadmap. The founders saw this. They were like, we're going to make it really hard, not impossible, really hard to destroy this place, right? They put so many checks and balances in that think about how much we've survived, right? The fact that we still have to fight, and honestly, it's a gift from Madison, Hamilton, and Jay.
Maybe.
Right? Like that, I tell people, the North Star is our founding fathers. The North Star is our own documents. The North Star is the Declaration of the Constitution. Like, that's what we're trying to get back to.
That is funny too, because and it's so funny. Like the left will constantly say, like, they'll talk about the founding fathers when it suits them, and then when you start to bring up all the stuff that they don't like about basically like how far right the founding fathers were compared to, you know, especially compared to the GOP now. Like, compared to the GOP, I mean, the GOP is like far left compared to the founding fathers. They would laugh at the current state of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I want to win. No, but I want to win. But why do you think we will win?
I believe in the spirit of the human, just the humanness of that we will step up when we have to step up.
So this is so interesting. I totally disagree because, and let me tell you, I got in a debate with an atheist. So he and it ties to this. Like, he said, okay, Charlie, I can't believe in God after the Holocaust. And I said, I can't believe in humanity after the Holocaust.
Yeah.
I said, I still believe in God. I've lost all faith in humans. So I want you to think about that, right? I have zero faith in humanity.
But look what humans did to Christ.
Yes, I mean, they didn't stop Mao, they didn't stop Hitler, they didn't stop Mussolini, they didn't stop, I'm not saying, you might be right. Now
I'm
you're...
an optimist.
But I am too, but I don't do hopium, right? I don't do hope and opium feels good, it's really bad for you. I'm right in the middle. I'm like, this, we could win triumphantly, or this could get really bad. And I'm just being honest. Like, I don't think what I'm getting at, and I'm not trying to, we're having fun, right?
Always the way it
I don't
is.
think think our victory is inevitable. I don't.
We'll have to work.
Yeah, that's the big psyop, dude. I fucking hate hearing people on the right say this shit. Oh yeah, we got it in the oh yeah, the red wave is coming, and woke is dead. Elon Musk's dumbass tweeted that out on X, right? And I reposted it, and I was like, do not believe this shit. No, it is not. The institutions are still completely captured. Most of the corporations are still captured. They didn't do mass firings like Twitter did. They did do some, but that doesn't mean they fired all the leftist crazy progressives. Facebook, like Mark Zuckerberg did not just like flip overnight, and neither did Jeff Bezos, and neither did all the other owners of the. They just care about money. Yeah, they didn't flip at all. Right, they just went to both sides and they made deals, and they saw that Trump was going to win, and they saw that it basically was in the bag, and so then he comes out and he's like, actually, I like surfing, bro, and I'm doing jujitsu now, man, and I wear like graphic T-shirts and stuff. Like, I'm cool, right? Like, get the fuck out of here. No, woke is not dead. The fight is not over. We didn't win shit. We're barely doing anything right now. We're barely making any progress.
This is the thing. There's a dynamic that's at play when you're talking about large corporations and woke, right? And that dynamic is that at the end of the day, a company, an entrepreneur, has an obligation, right? Like the laws of nature obligate this to fill the needs of the marketplace, right? Your job as a business owner is to be the supply to the demand. It really is that simple, right? Whatever the market is demanding, that's what you supply, right? That's why so many, people have all these super cynical, psychopathic takes on it, right? That's basically where it comes from. But that is basically mandated by the laws of nature. You can't get around it, right?
Yeah.
So Facebook, when they start censoring people, right, it comes out of this impression that they're getting from the market, that the market wants this. Where's it coming from? It's coming from these fringe, deranged leftists who have figured out that they can bully their viewpoint onto the masses by mass reporting stuff on these websites.
Yeah, it's just a survival mechanism.
And then that created this whole environment. This is exactly, Democrats knew that they were doing this, but they knew that that's where it came from, right? That's exactly all it was. And so the minute the pushback from conservatives goes away, that vacuum effect will reoccur.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm terrified of. Because we've already seen how bad it can get, and that it can get worse than that. And that they're willing to do it.
My suggestion now for us to play offense is preemptive conservatism.
Yeah.
Preemptive conservative regulation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying lock things up before they get out, but what would a deranged leftist do?
Right.
WWALD. And just lock that shit down before they ever get a chance. You know what I mean? And it's like start treating them like fucking mice. Just start ensnaring them in every possible way before they have the chance. That's what the founding fathers did. Yeah.
They literally set up. They looked at the history of the times, and they've seen all the different governmental structures and all of the failings, and they were really well read on history, and they were like, how can we set as many possible roadblocks in the way to preempt, just like you're saying, to just preempt and basically pre-move everything for the next 500 years, like a chess match, except they just pre-move the whole game for like 500 years, and we're finally getting to the point where the left is getting around this shit because they just have both feet on the gas, like jumping on the gas pedal, and then Republicans aren't doing shit. We're just, hey man, guys, let's just think about this for a minute, man. Hey man, let's tone down the temperature. I'm fucking sick of hearing that too.
Turn the temperature up.
Let's tone the temperature down. Let's tone the temperature down. Let's be reasonable here. I even saw people on the right saying that
No.
after the, well, we need to do, and I'm kind of like, I have mixed feelings about Erica Kirk's like saying she forgave the gunman, the assassin.
It was
Like,
just a beauty pageant winner.
yeah.
A Christian, like her and Charlie are so biblical worldview. They're so mega church. That's why she did that.
Well, I might forgive him to my priest and in private, you know what I mean? Like, and between me and God. But I don't think it's good because, like, overall to some degree, because it's just like, it sends the wrong message. Like, we have been, atrocities are being, we're being killed and we're being hunted, and it's not the time. You know what I mean? Like, we can do this after the battle's over. You know what I mean? Like, then we can forgive all the, the enemies. But like, we're in the middle of the shitstorm, man.
I get that.
So like, not that she should. Just to be clear, like, from a Christian perspective, like, yes, you should. Forgiveness is crucial.
Let me slide this in before we restart the video, and I forget it. But this is what I'm saying now about, like, okay, how do we play offense? Preemptive defense, basically. Play defense for the next 100 years right now.
Right. Yeah.
And what I think that means is, like, okay, they want to ban all the guns and everybody's fucking going hard about guns. Double down. Redefine the Second Amendment. Amend the Second Amendment and rewrite it so it says, fuck you, all guns, anytime, you can have a tank.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah, hell yeah.
Complain and you go to jail.
Yeah, there was a meme somebody was posting around earlier that was like, there's a picture of this old like machine gun that was around, like, the founding fathers were aware of that it existed, and it was like, listen, they knew what was coming. They knew what the future held, and they enshrined the Second Amendment anyways. Like, don't tell me that bullshit of like, well, they didn't mean military, they didn't mean this, they didn't mean, a rocket launcher. I'm like, no, yes, they did.
Yeah,
they absolutely did.
Didn't realize you wrote the fucking Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and rededicate everything. And by the way, that last paragraph of the Declaration, I think, just rings in our soul. Our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor, that's everything, right? And we are not at a place where Americans are willing to do that, right?
Yes, we are.
No, we're
There are a
not.
bunch of us.
Well, you are, but it takes 3 to 5%. If you can get to 3 to 5%, you can save the country. So that's the good question, right? Are we there? I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being real, right?
But what's the method?
What is
this? That's what's missing. I watch shows and books, and what's the
Well,
actual
all of the
method?
above. All the above. You have to, first and foremost, politics is a vector, right? California's in a different spot. I'll be honest. The all-out, like, weak-kneed, spineless red states, you would, if you came in and you did not know the composition of this country, you would think Democrats control, like, every governor's mansion, every AG. What is the method? The method is Oklahoma, Kansas, South Dakota, South Carolina, Arkansas start acting the way the blue states act. I've said this publicly.
Yeah, as he just finished saying.
Indicting every major Democrat across the board. The EPA starting to indict. That's not going to happen because they don't want that enough.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we need to see, like, especially now, if we can't get our shit together and bring the legal hammer down on every single left-wing, advocate or politician or activist or, like, anything, just the exact same way they treated Trump to try to get him out of the election, the exact same lawfare needs to be played against them right now for the next 3 years while we have control of the entire government structure.
Yeah,
Every single DA needs to be going, and judge needs to be going hard after for anything your money's not right. You missed one fucking form for your tax filing for your business for your charity. We're seizing all the fucking funds. Bank account frozen, and put the trial on fucking suspend the trial for the next 4 years. Freeze the bank accounts. Like, treat them the exact same way they just treated Trump and the right wing for the past fucking 20 years. I mean Obama's administration. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So
we have to treat it like we're never going to be in office again.
right.
You know.
Yeah, because it's possible.
Clean house. It is. And I mean,
We just stop thinking that like everybody's celebrating early right now. Like after Charlie Kirk's assassinated, too many right wingers are like, we got it in the bag. JD Vance 2028. It's they're cooked. Nobody's ever going to vote Democrat again. I'm like, no, you guys are idiots. They are this radicalized them almost equally as it just did the right wing. If not more, they are more fervent now than they've ever been. Yeah. They're openly coming out at all their jobs, and they're saying like, yeah, he had it coming to him. Good. Post a list of all the rest of them, and it's not just like a handful of people. I was telling my wife's grandpa this, and he's an anti-Trump. Really, he didn't really give a shit about politics till 2016. Trump got into office. He hates Trump, and he's like finding himself. It's like kind of leaning Democrat, trying to find a reasonable voice, instead of Trump, right? After this, he's like, so you're telling me the CNN was lying to me? Like, and he started asking me questions about all this stuff, and I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, they're all full of shit. And he's just like literally was like waking up from a bad dream. He's like, I can't believe it. Like, because he's a boomer. He watches the TV. He grew up with Walter Cronkite and Dick Cavett and all these, journalists who ultimately were still culturally Christian, and they gave a shit about America. They were America first. So the politics the further back you go, the more Christian the nation gets, and the politics don't matter as much because culturally the fabric is similar. We're so close culturally, it doesn't really matter if you want to do. Even if we had a communist government, if it was informed by Christian ethic, it wouldn't really matter. If we had a national socialist government and it was informed by Christian ethic, it would be probably a great place to live. Same if it was a monarchy. And ultimately, that's what was happening early on. And then we get the further away from that we get, the more we get into like secular humanism and atheism and agnosticism, paganism, and all this crazy shit, and then flooding the country with Muslims and Jews taking over the media and the structures of government. I mean, then you just get this crazy, like, we turned the country, the nation, into a fucking economic zone, So it's just kind of it's just such a mess now, and it's like he's like realizing that America doesn't exist anymore, and he literally was like having a hard time comprehending, like, because I was telling him things, and he was like, shit, you sound just like my buddy Gary that's been talking, and his buddy down the street, has been showing him some stuff, and he's more conservative and right wing, and he was showing him all, debunking all the shit they were saying on CNN. He's showing him clips of Charlie. So then he was like, well, yeah, you got to send me some of his stuff, and because he was going right down the tropes. What is Charlie? How is Charlie Kirk like? What is his stances on race and stuff? And I was like, look, dude.
Right.
I was like, so yeah. So he asked me a couple questions. We walked through it, and then he was just like, head in his hands, and he was like rubbing his temples, like, what the fuck, dude? Like he literally was like realizing the TV was lying to him and had fucking brainwashed him.
It's so evil what they do, bro. Like, I remember being on, because I saw it. I was following the Arena story, and I'm on X, and I see the first video that dropped of Charlie getting shot. And
Yeah.
I could tell he's dead because the way his body.
Yeah, I kind of could too. Yeah.
And I was just like, Oh, that's not good. I don't think, I don't think he's alive. I think he's dead.
That's what I thought too.
That's my first impression. And it's a horrible video. It's grainy, but you can see his arms come up and go straight to rigor mortis basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh my god, dude, what? So I was following it and following it and following it all day. Anytime a new video, I made sure I screen recorded, saved it, made a little archive or whatever, because I knew this shit was gonna get retarded in like 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fucking stuff immediately, bro. Immediately when the videos drop and it's basically like, we've seen enough. He's dead. Trump tweets he's dead and everything. Bang! All the fucking Democrats in unison. In unison, bro. Betty was MAGA.
Yeah.
And everywhere you see, I mean, there are people still on X that have commented on stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they got Charlie. He got shot by a Groiper."
Dude, Don Lemon's still running with that narrative. He's carefully wording it so that he's technically correct, but he's doing it in a way that clearly is meant to misrepresent the beliefs of the character of the assassin. So he says, "Well, and we're talking about a white male, comes from a Christian conservative family, pro 2A," and it's like, okay, but you left out the part where he's a furry and he's dating a fucking troon, okay?
Yeah. Kind of glossed over that.
Yeah, kind of skipped over that part, and where he's like Antifa and he's like in all these groups, and but that's the funny thing. The funny thing is that even if you grant all of that for the sake of arguing with these people or getting a point across to these people, it's some of them on Twitter I was arguing with. I was like, let's say I grant you all of that just for shits and giggles. I give you all of that. It doesn't even matter, because you're just the left's celebration of it alone and their fervent like rallying around this and like celebrating it and sharing it more and saying like, good, he had it coming and all this other stuff, and at the highest levels too. We're not just talking about a handful of crazy people on Reddit. We're talking about like elected Democrats, senators and congressmen that are currently holding office. Everybody in Congress, whenever those 2 senators got shot, they all signed or they voted yes for a, what the hell do they call it? Like a referendum or like something, basically condemning the violence, right? Condemning the political violence, and every single Republican in the House and the Senate voted yes, like, yes, we should condemn this or whatever, like this is bad. Like only like 20 Democrats voted yes to do the same for Charlie Kirk or something like that. It was crazy.
Like,
so they
voting before. Yes.
Yeah, they either abstained or they just voted no. They just completely voted no. And they just ran with this narrative that it's because he's like, Charlie Kirk is like some racist, homophobic, transphobic, bigot, fascist, Christian nationalist, Nazi. And it's just the most insane shit ever. So it's like, even at the highest level, they're celebrating this shit, or they're just kind of like, they don't really care. And I'm not saying they need to come out and shed a tear for it, but you just need to be a civilized member of society. You need to not be a repugnant rat. I mean, you just don't be a fucking, drooling hyena laughing and celebrating over this shit.
Maybe just don't berate grieving widows like 2 days.
Yeah,
after the was murdered on national TV.
There were people sending Erica Kirk messages, commenting on her public stuff on Instagram, laughing, saying that she deserved it, that her kids will laughing that her kids will no longer have a father and that she'll no longer have a husband, and basically dragging her and saying that like, well, you knew what you signed up for, you knew what he was, and he had it coming. And I'm like, you guys are the most disgusting people. You can't point to me one instance in the past like 20 years where Republicans or people on the right have done the same, and especially not to the same magnitude. You may be able to catch like a handful of people, like I'm talking about, random internet users. I'm sure you can find those people celebrating like Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death and whatever else, like Biden getting cancer, and you'll find a handful of internet users, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Republicans and the general GOP, or the huge organizers for the party, and others like that, openly coming out and celebrating the death of like those two senators in wherever that was it Milwaukee or some shit, Minnesota? I can't remember. I think it was Minnesota.
It's infuriating, though. I mean, they're obviously all getting their marching orders from a mass dissemination source, a centralized source.
Yeah, they're super organized. I'll give them that.
And they all speak in unison. It's almost the same words. We've caught them several times, just straight up running the same talking points, not with very little variation. So there's obviously a Democrat propaganda machine.
Yeah, there is like somewhere where they go, there's like an app or there's like a website, and they're all logging in, and they're all, or everybody's getting emailed their talking points, and this is what we're posting about this week. And it's crazy how quick that shit gets spun up, because it was like immediately on all the social media platforms, it was like the same 4 clips being taken out of context to like make Charlie Kirk sound like a racist. And then the other one was, what was the other big one? I wanted to talk about it earlier too. Oh, the one where he's like, because they keep saying, well, and he told someone to bail out the guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi with a hammer. It's like, no, that's not what he said. He's making like a glib, like kind of like a offhanded joke on his radio show. He's saying, talking about the Pelosi situation, and then he says, yeah, and if anybody, he talks about the attacker and how there's some history there or something like that, and he's like, yeah, if anybody wants to be a midterm hero, they need to bail that guy out and start asking some questions. And it's like, that's not the same as literally being like, all right, guys, we're posting a GoFundMe, we're going to bail this guy out, and we're going to ask some questions, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the same thing. But also, if you want to go there, the Democrats did do this. And their vice president at the time, and then, presidential candidate Kamala Harris did share a bail fund link for violent protesters in Minnesota. She shared a link on Twitter and told people to go donate to the Minnesota Freedom Fighters, which were actively bailing out all participants, violent or non-violent, of Antifa protests in Minnesota. So it's like, if we want to go there, no, that's not what that was, but actually you guys did do the thing. And that always tends to be the case. They're always convicting us of the crimes that they're committing.
Yeah. That's the art, though, isn't it, of left-wing media reporting, is to very carefully select what they report on so that they are always crafting a narrative that is diversive and deflective.
Yeah.
It's an art.
Well, we've turned this 6-minute clip into like 30 minutes, but let's finish it off.
This is what gives me hope, though. What gives me hope is that the actual rank and file of the Republican base is like on fire, energized. Like, I can't stay ahead of my audience. Like, I do this for 3 hours a day, and they're better researched than I am, and I do this for like 18 hours. Like, they're sending me articles of like WHO treaties and like, did you know about like Obama repealing the propaganda? It is the most informed audience I've ever dealt with. That's like a massive shot in the arm of optimism, right? That shows that good things are happening. What drives me nuts, and we got to change it, is our leaders are so disconnected from the voters. And California is its own thing. Let's just talk about the 10 reddest states in the country. right? South and North Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, forget Texas, like Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, like we should be waging all out war against
Yep.
the left on these states. And we're not. Like, we're kind of like, well, I hope it gets better. You're living through a moment where
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Yeah, I mean that would go a long way, honestly, in the culture wars, because it's like if you actually followed up on that, you would actually start to have places where more Christian conservative people could go and feel like they can live out the life that they want to lead without having to worry about some deranged teacher basically turning their entire household upside down for their own sick experiment.
Yeah. I need to. Let me see. I need to run and get something for the baby real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
All right. I don't know if we said hey to you, Luke, if you're still here, but hi. And hello to everyone hanging out with us. If you just got here, we were just watching this Charlie Kirk clip where he's basically, to be super reductive about it, talking about the importance of playing offense as conservatives. How do you even play offense as basically something that's not progressive?
All right. Well, I guess not.
Liberal and progressive. So that's basically what the clip is about.
Where it is.
Don't play offense.
Say that again.
I was just yapping while you were gone.
Yapping.
Telling people.
Yeah, I was looking at this too. I have a whole tab of just Leftist. So I was going to scroll through and spurg out on some of this stuff.
Yep.
I saw this today, and this is what I was just talking about too. Or maybe I didn't say it, but I was thinking about it while I was yapping earlier.
Can we get your reaction to President Trump blaming the radical left for what happened to Charlie Kirk?
I can't hear it.
Well, look,
She's asking a question. I can't hear it
this
either.
is a time that all Americans
Okay.
should come together and feel and mourn
Oh, here we go.
what happened. Violence, which affects so many different people,
He had so much
many
trouble
different
saying this.
political persuasions, is an affliction of America. And coming together is what we ought to be doing, not pointing fingers of blame. This moment requires
Which is so funny because they couldn't come together to condemn the violence. Like, I forget what this was.
And blaming. Which, I mean, I would give Chuck Schumer that. He's been individual, but, I mean, that's exactly what the entire Democrat Party did immediately, was start blaming MAGA. But you know what? You know what's funny, though? If Tyler Robinson was MAGA, Charlie Kirk would still be alive, and so would 2 illegal immigrants that Josh Johns shot today.
Okay, with 38 members voting. All right. President, 28 not voting, and 58 opposed. All Democrats. 58 Democrats voted against the resolution.
Wrong with these people?
It's just like, and that's the thing. It's always like they're always telling the rest of us, you know what I mean? But what they're never talking to you'll never see a Democrat that's coming out. None of them have come out right now and they said, my fellow Democrats, my people on the left, leftists, progressives, LGBTQ, whatever, we need to chill out. If there was someone on the left saying something like that, I'd be like, that's a reasonable person. Like, I could disagree with you on everything, but I can respect, that you're talking to the right audience. Instead, they're coming out and they're saying that we're still the problem. Because, hey, I know we just killed one of you guys, and then we laughed about it and we celebrated it, and we're hyping him up, and we actually enabled him as well by slapping all these labels on him, like he's a racist, transphobic, Nazi, fascist, bigot, all these other things, and then we also said kill those people. You know, anyone with this label, it's okay to punch them and kill them.
Yeah.
But you guys need to tone it down now. Like, you guys getting mad about that is really we're getting uncomfortable now. Like, fuck you.
Leadership that brings the American people
Oh, here it
together
is.
as opposed to trying to further
How can I blame Trump?
divide us. Political violence in any form against any American is unacceptable, should be denounced by everyone, and moving forward, we have to figure
Should
out
be, but I'm not
a
gonna do
better
it.
way to come together, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans.
So gay, dude. Fuck you. That's what I think.
He literally
That's what I
blamed
think.
Trump right off the bat. It's the leadership that's divisive. No, it's you. You guys radicalizing everybody.
Oh, fuck off, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's such a pussy sometimes.
ICE raids are fucking nuts, man. Watching this protest on television, it's like
You think the raids are nuts?
all of it's
yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, I think both
protest
sides are
is nuts,
taking it a little
the
too
raids
hard.
Well,
Both sides. ICE doing their job is taking it a little bit too far. ICE doing what they've literally always done is taking it a little bit too far. You know what I mean? Like them actually doing their job and, you know, and deporting people at lower rates than they did under Obama and Biden and
Who
Clinton.
said that?
You know,
I missed your tap. What was that?
this
Guess?
stupid. It was some guest, yeah. So both sides. It's both sides. No, it's pretty much just the people, burning the city to the ground because they hate ICE. Yeah, that they're taking it too far, not ICE.
I actually have something for the both sidesism that people are trying to do right now.
Oh, you know what? Sort of off topic, but on topic. Because it was something that we were talking about earlier. It made me think about it, and then I forgot, and then I just remembered. But this whole, like, the center shit is fucking killing me, too. I got into it with Connor Points the other night. The self-preservation, that's what I was talking about. All of this is really, like when we were talking about the leftists, and it's really just self-preservation. They're just doing, or no, it wasn't the leftists. It was the corporations. We're talking about the corporations and big media companies, tech conglomerates, whatever. Any big business like that that's out for the money. And they're just going to go along to get along, depending on which way they think the administration is going to swing, right? In the next election. Yeah, well, the same thing is, but the same thing happens even at the smaller level in all the politics too. And like, I've been getting into it with this guy on Twitter because we go back and he used to consider himself a conservative, right winger, whatever. He's a lefty at this point. I mean, but he's still clinging on to this, and he's writing Destiny's audience all around. He's like after DGG for some reason. I don't understand the dick writing. And so we got on the panel the other night, and Rob's just giving him the business. So I didn't really get much of a word in edgewise, but he kept, like throwing my name out there whenever he's like attacking Rob because I'm laughing at him and it was funny. And because we've been getting into it on Twitter. But then I finally was just like, yeah, well, this is typical of you anyways, because one of the first times I ever met this guy on a panel, he's talking about how he was a cop or something. I thought he said corrections officer. I don't remember what he actually said, but basically he was saying that he used to be a cop and he's seen how bad the cops can be. And we need police reform because of the good old boys, gangs, and blah, blah, blah. And basically he lets it slip that, like, while he was a part of whichever department he was in, or maybe it was the military police or wherever he was working, they were basically, like, antagonizing people and then beating the shit out of them. And I'm like, okay, so you're just as guilty, bro. Like, you're you're part of the problem, and if you're almost worse in a way, you're almost worse than the people beating the shit out of them, because you know what they're doing is wrong, and you're not. Did you start an investigation with SLED? Like, did you report them, and get, bring down the hammer on them? Like, no, you didn't fucking do anything. You went along to get along, and you're doing the same thing now. You openly on another panel right before, which was Rob was going after him for. He's like talking to somebody on a panel he's debating, and they ask him something about Destiny. He's like, well, he basically says, like, well, I need Destiny's audience to do, to make my, like, if I didn't have Destiny's audience, then it would slow down what I'm trying to do with politics. It's just like, what the fuck does that even mean? So you're just like whoring yourself out to the guy. You're just admitting that you're not actually friends with the guy. You don't actually give a fuck. You just want to, like, shave off some of his audience. And it's just like, these are the fucking people. These are the enlightened centrists, by the way. They're all just left wingers, progressive. They're all just attacking the right constantly, and then they'll throw a bone here or there to, like, the right wingers that may still follow them, and they'll say something about a stupid lefty or a stupid transgender. Or they'll be like, my guns. It's just, it's pathetic.
They want their cake and they want to eat it too.
Yeah.
They want all the benefits of conservatism without none of the hard work, and they want all the hedonism of the left without feeling like they're abandoning their cultural conservatism.
Yeah. But that is what should be informing your politic anyways, Who even is Destiny's audience? 12-year-old kids on puberty blockers. Yeah, I don't know anymore, honestly.
Those are dirty clothes.
I don't even know. I think it's like middle-aged men, dude. I think it's middle-aged coomers, degenerates, LGTV activists, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, just coomers and
Just coomers, gamers. I mean, fortunately, some that there's some overlap there.
It's depressing how many people think like that.
Yeah. They're not looking for the truth. They're looking for an ideology that allows them to keep living the degenerate lifestyle that they want to live. You know what I mean? They know that a lot of the things that they're doing are wrong, or they come to that realization at some point, and then instead of being like, yeah, this is probably true, I feel this intuitively, like I feel this in my gut, I need to search for what the correct way is, they're just like, actually, how can I, like, do all the mental gymnastics and jump through the hoops and the ring of fire and all this shit to, like, backwards, upside down rationalize this to where actually it's fine, because we're all just a bunch of fizz and everything's just, I was predetermined to be this way or some goofy shit.
This is all wrong. I know it's all wrong, but have you heard of moral relativism?
Yeah. Have you heard of just my preference?
Yeah.
It's just because I like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a mess, dude.
But that it's ultimately a lifestyle of no discipline, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, I know this is wrong, but I'm comfortable.
Well, and I was kind of onto this early on before I got, as deep as I am now into politics, in the sense that, like, I realized that, politics is fake and gay and retarded, and it's like, because politics is downstream from culture is downstream from religion, and it's kind of like, that's what you know what I mean? That's ultimately that's how it is in every functioning society. Yeah, whether they want to admit it or not, even the countries who would say that they're not religious in nature, like a country like China, ultimately their dogma is anti-religion. That is their dogma. They treat that in a religious fashion. The state, they worship the state.
It is their religion.
Right, the state is their religion. So you can't get away from this. Like that is the nature of the beast. But I was even kind of onto this then whenever I was a little more like nubile to politics, and I used to say that, and which I think is still true, that the left and progressives and Marxists and communists and all these kind of revolutionary types, and you'll find them on the right wing too, actually. They lack the discipline, and they're like they're so terrified of the personal responsibility that they would rather basically take this freedom card, if you want to call it that, and they would rather hand it over to somebody else and be like, actually, you take all my freedom. I don't want to be responsible for myself, because like if I accept that I have all this freedom, that means my shitty life is my fault. That means that all of this bullshit that's happening to me, at least like 80 to 90% of it, it's all my fault, actually. And that means I would have to actually get up off my ass and do something. I don't want to do that. So here, you take my freedom, let's do a revolution, and then you just cut me a check, and I'll vote for the Uniparty, and I'll go to work in the fucking mines. I'll yearn for the mines. It doesn't matter, just as long as we have my revolution, you know?
Anything to avoid accountability.
Yeah. It's pathetic. But yeah,
Russell Brand on the show now, or what?
Russell Brand reposted this. This is pretty old, but I was just scrolling through my leftist, bookmarks.
All right.
I don't think if the Trump administration, if they're running and they said, we're going to go to Home Depot and we're going to arrest all the people at Home Depot, we're going to go to construction sites and we're going to just like tackle people at constructions. I don't think anybody would have signed up for that. They said, we're going to get rid of the criminals and the gang members first, right? And now we're seeing like Home Depots get raided. Like, that's crazy.
Okay, but it's not a problem that's confined to America. This sense of ongoing division, divisiveness, and conflict.
Russell Brand. Did you see he had Nick Fuentes on?
Yeah, I saw it. Let this retard finish.
Inability to create a kind of social cohesion where the Irish agree what Ireland is for and about, or the French agree what France is about. This is just one further example of constant division that, for me, suggests that
it's easier being a
the
victim.
center cannot hold. We can't live anymore under human authority. The state as God isn't working anymore.
That's funny, because I don't know, but that last part is kind of funny because I was just saying that.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's not anymore. It's just that we're heading that way.
But looking at him with his shirt like this, complaining about how you can't be in the middle now, like in the headspace that I'm in, it's just like you're just being a coward.
Yeah, I'll give him credit. He's trying. Like Russell Brand was, and I think this is why Russell Brand flipped so hard as he did and started actually talking about politics, because he was fully entrenched in the crazy ideology, the progressive ideology, and he was a hedonist, and he was being a degenerate. Yeah, and then he like had a coming to Jesus moment. He converted to Christianity, and then he's like doing his podcast. He gets out of Hollywood, and then he starts his podcast. I don't know this whole background, but then he's like, you know what I mean? So, but he was fully entrenched in that stuff. So I think he kind of felt like he needed to talk about a lot of this stuff too. You know what I mean? So I give him some leeway, but he's getting better.
I've been in that place too, and it's just like I know, like, part of the reason why he feels that way is because it's
Ice rates.
He doesn't.
They're fucking
he doesn't
nuts,
want
man.
To, he doesn't want to commit. You know.
Yeah. Well, he's committed pretty hard. I mean, he's pretty like hardline right at this point.
Comparatively, but what he said there doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, well, he's like a weird. He's not very good at like giving saying things. I don't know. When I saw him, I don't watch him much, but I used to watch him like here and there. But then I watched that whole interview of him and Nick Fuentes, and it was like, I don't even know what he was saying half the time. He just like ramble on.
There's the Pat David Bet Nick Fuentes interview.
Yeah, that was good too.
I think Hassan is watching it on his show. It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah, he's probably
Yep.
so mad, dude. That was kind of chill. I'm glad that Patrick Bet David took that approach because you know what I mean. Nick Fuentes is just right about a lot of stuff. He just is, you know. So I think he does deserve kind of a bigger audience to some degree, and he's getting it. And I don't like, and he said some crazy shit too, but I don't think he deserves to be literally debanked. Like, he can't even fucking open a bank account. He can't even sell. He can't even sell merch on a website. He can't take even after Elon Musk buys Twitter, he won't give him a blue check mark and allow him to get paid subscriptions on there or allow people to like send him money. He can't get Cash Apps. He can't get PayPal. He can't open a PayPal account. Like, this is the kind of shit that we need to be doing to Democrats, to leftists, to communists, to open communists and Marxists. I mean, we literally had Eisenhower passed a fucking law under his administration that made it illegal to identify with the Communist Party, and it was punishable by law. I mean, to like be in support of. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, we need to operate as such. You know, it's
we need to enforce that, absolutely.
So
1,000,000%, and we need to enforce it retroactively, basically back to the date that it went into an effect. And it doesn't matter if you ever identified with it, dude. Just fucking infinite statute of limitations. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck these people, especially fuck these people. All these progressive schools, what they're doing to the kids. You know, just get them out of here, dude.
Just scrolling through my leftist
that's what I was
tab
saying.
here. You've got screenshots in here, but I can't really pull up the screenshots into this tab.
That's what I'm trying to also say is that that's exactly the kind of thing that we have to be doing right now.
Yep. Oh yeah, this is funny. All the people too. It's like all the people that were coming out, especially like Obama and others, that were like triggered that Jimmy Kimmel was like pulled from the air and shit. They were the same ones calling for censorship. They literally called for Trump to be removed from Twitter at the time, and he was. The fucking sitting president at the time, was he still the president, or was that like right after his presidential term? Either way, that's like unprecedented. He gets banned off of every fucking social media platform. Like, that's crazy. A president, whether it's sitting or former, getting banned off of like all the social media platforms after Democrats called for it. And you know, that's the other thing. Speaking of fucking Mark Zuckerberg earlier, they basically came out and admitted that they were just doing the Biden administration's bidding. Whatever they were told to do, they just did it.
Yeah,
which is just crazy to me.
That should be treated like treason. Biden's part and the administration's part, and the company itself should be probably held civilly liable. Like people, like people should, like, we're going back to Nick Fuentes and all these people that have been debanked and deplatformed because of the fringe crowds that are just like, I don't want to hear this. Like, okay, maybe they're being offensive, whatever, but you know, you can block them. Like that's the solution to this stuff. First of all, like people have the ability to calibrate their own algorithm, educate them about that, put the tools in their hands, and let them block people as they see fit. I don't want to see this. I don't want to hear this. I'm fragile. Okay, fine. Press this button and you're cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the solution was never deplatforming. It's ludicrous. I mean, what kind of ridiculous clown show were we running? And then the other thing, like with the debanking, I mean, people, if banking is the major mode of currency transfer, then you don't have like that should be constitutionally protected, right? If we're going to be completely reliant on the state for our freedom, then those kinds of things have to be constitutionally protected. Like you have the right to bank, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can't just debank somebody because you don't like a couple words they said on the internet. Like
Yeah, that's crazy. Like you can't function in society without a fucking bank account.
You're my bank.
Yeah, like I don't.
Here's what they just fucking hold my money, you fucks.
Yeah, I mean, as if we're not already
Don't
like
fucking lose
scammed enough having to fucking use you guys. The Federal Reserve and all this other bullshit. Like, Jesus Christ, man! Like, yeah, it is crazy when you think about it. The first time that I heard about anything like that was actually with Enrique Tarrio. It was actually. I wonder if Tim Pool still got that episode up. I met Enrique Tarrio, by the way, in the Million Mega March.
Who even is Destiny's audience? Oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, his first appearance, he started talking about all this. I don't even think he has it up anymore. I think he took it down.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. But he caved though. Like he didn't. He kind of capitulated too. He didn't want to be associated with it, so he removed it from his fucking platform. And I don't even know what he was accused. I don't even know what the charges were. He's still facing charges. Enrique Tarrio did not get pardoned. I don't think he was part of that, like mass pardoning or whatever.
No, he got let out of jail, didn't he? And then they charged him with something else.
Yeah, they got him with something else and put him right back in.
It was a state charge or something.
It's fucking crazy, dude. I mean, that's the shit that we need to be doing. Go retroactively, go back and find those fucking bastards that were burning, courthouses to the ground for 100 days straight in Portland and shit. Do everything. Everybody who was just rioting against ICE and burning LA to the ground. I mean, everything that you just did in DC. You know what's funny? When I was talking to her grandpa about DC, and he said something about whether it was necessary in DC, and I said, yeah. I said, absolutely, it was necessary, and I said, and it helped with the crime or whatever. But then what's funny is that we kind of like disagreed and then immediately agreed on different terms, because he's like, well, yeah, but it's like 30th in crime, and I was like, yeah, but that just means that 29 other cities also need to be under martial law. And he's like, yeah, that's a good point. And I was like, yeah, like that doesn't mean we don't, 13 people dying a day at its worst is crazy.
Yeah.
So just because we can say, you're right, maybe DC isn't the worst in the city or in the state or nation, but that just means that all those other cities that are worse off than DC, they also need to be having the National Guard come kick the door in.
I am not I don't want to see the crime in these areas just get cleaned up and the rioters get charged with misdemeanors. Every single one of those people needs